Yep, it's these two again. Now, they were looking promising at the end of the last video, and they look, as indeed, they look quite promising here. The non-black one, I've already sanded that off camera. I wanted to just see what it'd actually look like before I started filming it. And then the idea was, if that one looked alright, the chances are the black one would look alright too. So, set the camera up and started filming the black one being sanded. It's really not going as well as it looks. Not wanting to over dramatise anything here because it's not the end of the world or anything like that. And don't be under the impression, I know these videos have stretched out over several days now. I think we're into the second week of this. But obviously I've not just been working on these two that whole time. There's been plenty of other work going along, plenty of other much easier work going on with the other cars that I'm on with at the moment, and also my actual life and work and things like that. So this is just a very small investment of time. So to give you an idea, I mean, obviously I don't show absolutely all of the sanding because it is a repeated process of building up and then sanding off and then building up and then sanding off and then putting a bit of paint on to see where you're going and then sanding that off and then finding more imperfections and then putting more filler on or more putty on or whatever and then sanding that off and then finding that doesn't look right, so then you put some more on and then you find that doesn't look right, so some more goes on. It sounds like a nightmare. It's not. It's 5 or 10 minutes at a time, that's all. Probably spread across both of them. And the two you can sort of learn from each other as well. That came out a bit wrong. You can learn things from, you do something to one and then you do it to the other one a little bit better because you learned some things while you were doing the first one. I've probably overall sunk about maybe getting close to 3 hours now between the two of them. And like I say, I would still say there's no real end in sight, if I'm quite honest with you. But, well, at least one of them was pretty bad to start with. And it's like I say, this is all supposed to be fun. It wouldn't be as enjoyable and satisfying and fulfilling, etc., if every single one of them was just done in 10 minutes, like some of them are. If you remember the Guildsman, the Vauxhall Guildsman from a few weeks ago, that took a while to do. And then I just did that Lamborghini Marzal, I just did that in and amongst just to show how quick and how easy they can be. That was all done in about 20 minutes flat. So it did look good. This one particularly did look good. And it turned out that central sort of V-shape, the elongated V-shape, which I think is possibly, is it meant to be like a representation of how cars used to be when they used to have like a separate engine compartment and then the wings or fenders were on either side, and this is supposed to be like a bit of a nod to that. But anyway, it turned out I got that too high, so that was me grinding it back down with the chisel because it was just too prominent. It would have probably looked all right, but I'm trying to get it so that it looks like the standard version of this, the one that didn't have the engine protruding from it. So I'm trying to get this central feature to match, or more or less match, the standard version of it. So I've just had to flatten it off, basically. So that's what I've done. So we're not back to square one, far from it. It's not like I've got to start trying to fill the sides of it again and sort of lose that hole. That one though, I've had to put a bit of paint on that. I had to just go and put a bit of silver paint on that because I was getting a bit snowblind with it, because it can play tricks with you sometimes, because when you've been sanding different materials, because obviously I'd laid paint up on this before, and there's different, I mean the putty and the modelling clay are two slightly different colours when you sand them back, so you get this kind of marble effect and you can't really see what's there and what isn't. So I just had to put that paint on just to see where I was going. So we'll have a little bit of a break from that, and we're going to do something with the interior of the Nova because I don't want it to stay white. I mean, 80s hatchbacks never had white interiors, so it's never going to be a colour that would suit it. I mean, if I was going to be doing a factory original restoration of it, then that's fine. I would have kept it white. And I just happened to notice, I mean, I'm not going to be detailing this interior or anything because there's no point. There's nothing really to detail. The dashboard's quite flat and featureless. why wouldn't it be? The doors don't open. It's not like anybody's ever really going to see it properly. But I just did notice a bit of flash on the steering wheel, so I just thought might as well get rid of that while the interior's out. And then here's a very quick way to do the interior. Normally I would just spray this with a bit of gloss black or matte black or whatever I had kicking about. But it's occurred to me, it's beyond... we're certainly getting towards the end of spraying season for a lot of people now. Most people don't want to be doing spray painting once it gets to late October. I mean, I can keep going because I've got a cellar, I've got a hairdryer, an extractor fan. I can keep going. I know a lot of people can't. This is a good way to do it. I mean, it's not just that, but I don't really want to go down into the cellar once it gets cold. I'd rather do something like this just while pretending to watch something on Netflix and just paying just enough attention to it so that if somebody says, "Oh, did you watch that thing that I told you to watch?" I can say, "Yeah, I watched it because there was this bit where this person did this," and they'll believe me. So all I did there was just flooded it a little bit with a pipette and then dabbed it with a soft brush. It does level itself out quite nicely, the standard Tamiya black. And once it's dry, you can see it pretty much just looks like the manufacturer finish that you tend to get on its shiny black plastic kind of effect. But that's fine because although we're customizing this a little bit, we are trying to go for the factory look to a degree as well. So we'll introduce this one now. This is the Fiat X19. I've done quite a bit with it already. I've already got the body down to bare metal. I'm not sure if I'm going to mirror polish it or not. It does look like it'll lend itself very well to mirror polishing, but I have got quite a good idea to do with in terms of the paint that doesn't require mirror polishing, so I'm not quite sure which way I'm going to go with that yet. So I've already built the wheels up using the plumbing O-rings, quite a large size because they're the biggest, some of the biggest sized Corgi Junior wheels you can really get on this. And it's a bit like a puppy with big paws, this one, in terms of its wheels and sort of how big they are compared to the rest of the cast. And it's quite a large scale one as well, though. It's definitely not what you call 1/64. It's probably 1 to, I don't know, somewhere in the 50s, I would have said 158, something like that. I don't know. So I've just got to the bit where I'm sanding down the edge of the plumbing O-ring just to leave that kind of gold wheel rim in there. I've done them in gold on this one. I've done them in gold on the Renault 5 GT as well, which I'll be introducing in the next episode. So, I mean, I've got full videos on this method of doing this with the wheels. I just thought I'd show it again, but if you want to see a full video, a full expansive video on exactly how to do this with the Corgi Junior wheels, it's one of the earliest videos that I made, maybe the second or third one, the one with the brown Mustang. That'll be in the thumbnail. So that's that. They're looking good. They just look like nice big 70s alloys, which I couldn't think of anything that would suit a Fiat X19 more, really. But there's another little trick I'm going to show with this. So yeah, that's all looking good. But the engine, they've got an opening engine compartment on the back, and that's the engine out the inside, and it's lost a bit of its chrome. And I'm not sure really that the chrome areas on the edges of the engine bay that are visible because the compartment cover, or I suppose it's almost like the bonnet on a mid-engine car, sort of goes down between the two of them, and I'm not really sure they should be like that, so I'm going to do this really, really quickly. This is Tamiya smoke. I'm just flooding the entire engine bay with Tamiya smoke because the raised bits are absolutely fine, they're still chrome, it's just the lower areas, and the whole engine shouldn't really be chrome anyway. I mean, you never lift the bonnet of a car and find that the entire engine's chrome. I think this just makes it look a little bit more realistic because the Tamiya smoke will collect and make it appear black and then leave those raised bits as chrome, and then I'm just using a cocktail stick to put some actual black down the side bits so that those bits will match the black of the engine cover. I just think it'll look better like that, especially with the colour that I've got in mind. There's no real place for it being chrome. It just won't really go with it. So that's a nice little trick. It looks brand new, really. I mean, it's not even dried yet, but trust me, once it did dry, it looked like it could have been done in the factory. And that all took about 10-15 seconds. Once you've done it, you really have got to just leave it alone and let it completely harden. Do not touch it. Try and keep, well, yeah, not try and keep it level. Keep it level. And leave it for 24 hours and it'll be fine. So the Nova, it's got its black interior, and I've done the top half in a better silver I am leaning towards silver being its final colour, well, for the top half anyway. And then the Mercury's, the one that was black is now the red one, and the one that wasn't anything is now the gold one. There was a bit more sanding and a bit more putty put on, and then sanded off again, off camera. And then I painted them completely like this, just to get an idea of where I'm at. There is still some work to be done. Both of them will still require a little bit more sanding than this. And then obviously there's one that's I've got to make the glass for. So join me next time and hopefully we'll nail them. Thanks for watching.